Life has changed dramatically for Casey Acker and her son Torrin over the past few years. The 16-year-old from Ashland is no longer in school. He was pulled out. With fatigue, dizziness, and seizures, Torrin is simply overwhelmed, too sick to do much of anything.
It's just scary and painful.
Torrin's currently unable to speak and communicates by humming and texting.
It was so hard not knowing what was wrong with me.
Casey says doctors suspect Torrin has Lyme disease, a disease carried by ticks. After a bite, the bacteria enters the bloodstream, attacking the skin, joints, and nervous system. But because of strict testing guidelines by the Centers for Disease Control, Torrin wasn't diagnosed with Lyme. Instead, the Ackers were told he has a tick-borne illness.
Before he got diagnosed, he thought that it was all made up in his head. And it's so hard to have your child feel so responsible, thinking that it's all his fault, that he made it all up, and it's not.
It is very tricky to be diagnosed. It's very hard to get the testing correct. And part of that is because of the organism itself.
Registered nurse Sharon Lee has Lyme disease, but that diagnosis took more than 20 years and says cases like Torrin's aren't all that uncommon.
It's so difficult. Each person that comes in may have a different set of co-infections, and they have a different set of symptomology.
The CDC says last year only 12 people were diagnosed with the disease in Oregon. That's dramatically less than states in the Northeast where Lyme disease is more common. But Lee argues that number is growing.
In some places, over 50% of the ticks are infected with Lyme disease.
And with so few official cases in the Northwest, resources are limited.
The financial part of this is really hard, and I don't know what's going to happen.
Torrin's insurance only covers a portion of his treatments. Casey says it could take up to 3 more years for Torrin to become asymptomatic and estimates they pay more than $91,000 a year for his treatments.
And it's a handful.
Community donations are helping the family, however. A donation account for Torrin's treatment has been set up at Rogue Federal Credit Union, and Ashland High School is planning a fundraising event next March.
It's a pretty ugly, scary disease that can steal a lot of your life.
A life Casey hopes Torrin will soon get back. In Ashland, Kyle Laverman, NBC5 News.